Hi, I'm Srinivas Reddy Palam, lecturer in computer engineering, Kuli Qutub Shah Government Polytechnic. I'm going to handle the course Programming in C 18CM205. It is the subject code. It is in Diploma in Computer Engineering, first year, second semester. In today's session, I'm going to discuss how to undefine the preprocessor directives that are already defined. That is, I will discuss undefined preprocessor directives and also the conditional compilation using these preprocessor directives, hash errors, one of the preprocessor directive, and hash pragma preprocessor directives we will discuss. And we will discuss single pound symbol and double pound symbol operators, line numbers, predefined symbolic constants, and also assertions. We will discuss all these topics in today's session. Let's see how to undefine. So how to use the undefined symbol, and that is undefined preprocessor directive. Symbolic constants and macros can be discarded by using the hash undef preprocessor directive. So if at all if you have defined some preprocessor directives using hash define, these can be um, undefined or discarded. They can be made unavailable to the program by the help of these hash undefined preprocessor directive. So the preprocessor directives can be defined in two ways, the two forms. One can be symbolic constant, the other can be macros. So these symbolic constants and macros both can be discarded by using the hash undef preprocessor directive. So that is the purpose of the hash undef preprocessor directive. Directive hash undef undefines a symbolic constant or macro name. So the preprocessor directive hash undef, what it will do is it undefines a symbolic constant or macro name. The scope of a symbolic constant or macro is from its definition until it is defined with hash undef or until the end of the file. So first of all, if you want to use the undefined and define, let's understand what is the scope of a symbolic constant or a macro that is defined using the hash define. So the scope of a symbolic constant and macro is from its definition until it is undefined with the hash undef or until the end of the file. So the scope is until it is undefined or until the end of the file is reached. Once a symbol or constant or macro is defined, its scope is from its definition point to the point where it has to be it was undefined with hash undef or until the end of the file. So until the end of the file also the scope can persist. Once undefined, a name can be redefined with a hash define. So the once you have undefined some symbolic constant or macro, it can be redefined with the help of this hash define, and the definition can be different from the previously defined one. Functions in the standard library sometimes are defined as macros based on other library functions. So there can be so many functions that are useful in C programming. So functions in the standard library sometimes are defined as macro based on other library functions. So the library functions that are defined in one standard header file can be based on some other library functions that are defined with the help of these macros. And a macro commonly defined in the stdio.h header file is hash define. So this is the explanation. The macro that the function that is getchar was defined in the stdio.h. It is commonly defined with the help of some other some other function that is defined in stdin. The macro definition of getchar uses function getC to get one character from the standard input stream. So you have defined this function getchar, which is a macro function, and it is using the function getC. So getC is used for getting the input from the standard input stream. The macro definition of getchar uses function getC to get one character from the standard input stream. So you can understand from the definition of getchar. The getchar is a macro function and it is defined using the standard function getC, which is getting the what single character from the standard input stream. Function put care of the stdio.h header, and the character handling functions of the ctype.h header are often implemented as macros as well. So the same thing, same concept that was used in getchar for defining the getchar is used in putchar also. That means it uses the standard functions available in stdio.h. Um, the standard functions available in stdio.h are in turn using the functions character handling functions of the ctype.h for their definition. And these all functions like putchar etc. That are defined in stdio.h are basically using the functions of ctype.h, and they are implemented with these help of these functions and in combination with macros. Expression with side effects, variable values are modified. What is side effect is variable values are modified. Expressions with side effects should not be passed to a macro because macro arguments may be evaluated more than once. So if they are having the side effects, then they will change their values and that will become problem. So variables values are modified during the evaluation, then that will give incorrect results for the macros that are being defined. So they should not be used, or should not be expressions with side effects should not be passed to a macro, because the macro arguments may be evaluated more than once. So why we need to we should not we should not avoid expressions with side effects is because if you pass expressions with side effects as arguments to macros, so mm, the property of macro arguments is they will be evaluated more than once. So if at all if they are having these side effects, they will be evaluated more than once and they will be modified. So they will give different times different results for the same macro. I will see what are conditional compilation. What is meant by conditional compilation? Conditional compilations enable you to control the execution of preprocessor directives and the compilation of programs code. So conditional compilation means it enables you to control the execution of preprocessor directives and the compilation of the program code. So if your program is having the preprocessor directives, their execution preprocessor directives execution can be controlled by the use of this conditional compilation technique, and the compilation of the entire program code can also be controlled. Each of the conditional preprocessor directives evaluates a constant integer expression. So each of the conditional preprocessor directives evaluates a constant integer expressions. By this only they will control the compilation of the program and the execution of the preprocessor directive. Cast expression, that is cast expressions, size of expressions and enumeration constants cannot be evaluated in preprocessor directives. So we should not use the cast expressions, typecast expressions and size of expressions and enumeration constants. If we use them, it will give incorrect results. The conditional preprocessor construct is much like the if selection statement. So conditional preprocessor construct, it is very much similar, very much like the if selection statement. The if selection statement, how it works, the same will work in case of the conditional preprocessor constructs also. Conditional compilation continued. Consider the following preprocessor code. Hash if not defined of my constant. Hash define of my constant 0. Hash end if the these conditional construct preprocessor statements, they define that hash if hash not defined of my constants. If at all if you, my constant is not defined, then you are going to define hash define my constant. So here he is saying that in this if statement, he is doing what verification. If at all if my constant is not defined, then they will define with the help of the hash define, and it is defined, it is assigning my constant with a value of 0. This directives determines if my constant is defined. The expression defined of my constant evaluates to 1 if my constant is defined. So the expression defined of my constant evaluates to 1 if my constant is defined, otherwise 0. If the result is 0, hash defined of my constant evaluates to 1 and my constant is defined. So if at all if your my constant is not defined, that will give um, 0, and it will be a not of 0 will become negation of 0, it will be evaluated to 1, and my constant is now going to be defined with the help of the statement hash define space my underscore casted space 0. So your going casted will become 1. Otherwise the hash defined directive is skipped. If it is already defined, um, then the if condition will become fail, and it will skip the definition. So hash defined directive is going to be skipped. Every hash if construct ends with hash and if. So it is you can observe from the syntax of the hash if construct, every hash if construct ends with hash and if. Directives hash if def and hash if and def are shorthand for hash if defined of name and hash if not defined of name. So you can use a hash if def or hash if defined of name, or hash if and if, or hash if not negation of defined of name. A multiple part conditional preprocessor construct may be tested by using the hash elif, the equivalent of else if in if statement, and the hash else, the equivalent of else if in if statement is used. So we have hash elif and hash else directives also. The hash elif is equivalent of else if in an if statement, and the hash else is equivalent of else in an if statement. So these are the directives that are also available in hash if and hash else if. These directives are frequently used to prevent header files from being included multiple times in the same source files. So if you want to avoid you if you want to prevent header files from being included multiple times in the same source file, we can use the directive hash elif and hash else directives. We use this technique extensively in the c plus part of um, c plus plus part c plus plus programming. We use this um, extensively. During program development, it is often helpful to comment out portions of the code to prevent it from being compiled. If the code contains comments slash star and star slash cannot be used to accomplish this task. Instead, you can use the following preprocessor constructor. So you can use the below preprocessor constructor so that you can prevent from compiling. Hash if 0 code prevented from compiling hash and if. So you can write the statements that are going to be prevented from compiling inside the hash if 0, followed by the statements that you have to prevent from compile, and after that you have to write hash and if. To enable the code to be compiled, replace the 0 in the preceding constructor with 1. So if at all, if write it 1 in place of 0, then the code that is going to be prevented from compiling will be now compiled. Conditional compilation is commonly used as a debugging aid. So the basic purpose of conditional compilation is for using a debugging aid. Many C implementations provide debuggers which provide much more powerful features than conditional compilation. So the C implementations provide debuggers which provide much more powerful features than conditional compilation. In cases where you do not have extensive debugging facilities, then you can go with the conditional compilation as an aid for debugging. If a debugger is not available, printf statements are often used to print variable values and to confirm the flow of control. So if a debugger is not available, printf statements are often used to print variable values and to confirm the flow of control. These printf statements can be enclosed in conditional preprocessor directives, so the statements are only compiled while the debugging process is not completed. So you can use the printf statements which are enclosed in conditional preprocessor directive. So the statements are only compiled while the debugging process is not completed. Not completed. For example, hash if def debug printf variable x equal to percentage d slash n comma x hash and if. So if at all, if you are not going to debug, then your printf statement will be used. If at all, if your debug is not doing, then you can avoid using this printf statement. The explanation is as this: causes a printf statement to be compiled in the program with the symbolic constant debug has been defined. So if you have defined this debug, then the printf statement is going to be compiled, has been defined before directive hash if debug. So if you at all, if you are having hash defined debug directive defined before your hash if space debug printf variable x equal to percentage d slash n comma x hash and if, then you can use this. Otherwise you can simply discard the printf statement. When debugging is completed, the hash defined directive is removed from the source file, and the printf statement inserted for debugging purposes are ignored during compilation. So if at all, if your debugging is completed, the hash defined directive is removed from the source file, are just going to be commented out using the comment statements, and the printf statements inserted for debugging purposes are ignored during compilation. In large programs, it may be desirable to define several different symbolic constants that control the conditional compilation in separate sections of the source file. So in large programs, it may be desirable to define several different symbolic constants that control the conditional compilation in separate sections of the source file. So it is the purpose of your conditional compilation is it is desirable in large programs to use different symbolic constants that control the conditional compilation in separate sections of the source file. Inserting conditionally compiled printf statements for debugging purposes in locations where C currently expects a single statement. In this case, the conditionally compiled statement should be enclosed in a compound statement. Thus, when the program is compiled with debugging statements, the flow of control of the program is not altered. Inserting conditionally compiled printf statements for debugging purposes in locations where C currently expects a single statement. In this case, the conditionally compiled statement should be enclosed in a compound statement. Thus, when the program is compiled with the debugging statements, the flow of control of the program is not altered. Now we will see what are hash error and hash pragma preprocessor directive. The hash error tokens prints an implementation dependent message including the tokens specified in the directive. The tokens are sequence of characters separated by spaces. For example, hash error 1, it is out of range error, contains three tokens. When a hash error directive is processed on on some systems, the tokens in the directive are displayed as an error message. Pre-processing stops and the program doesn't compile. So if you want to print some messages whenever you are doing some pre-processing steps, during these pre-processing steps whenever there occurs an error, the message will be displayed with the help of these hash error tokens. Let's read once again the hash error directive. Example: the hash error followed by tokens prints an implementation dependent message including in the token specified in the directive. So whatever tokens are defined for this, they will be displayed. The tokens are sequence of characters separated by spaces. For example, hash error 1. So error 1 is the tokens are like this: out of range error contains three tokens. Whenever hash error directive is processed on some systems, the tokens in the directive are displayed as an error message. So the tokens are basically used for displaying the error messages whenever an error directive is processed. Pre-processing stops and the program doesn't compile. So during the pre-processing step itself, the compilation, the execution of the program will stop and the compilation will not proceed. Now we'll see what is hash pragma directive. The hash pragma directive, the hash pragma followed by space tokens causes an implementation defined action. A pragma not recognized by the implementation is ignored. So if you want to do some implementation specific actions, you can use the hash pragma directives. So the purpose of the hash pragma directives is they causes an implementation defined action. A pragma not recognized by the implementation is ignored. So those pragmas that are not recognized by the implementations are going to be ignored, and the others only will be taken. The action that is being implemented will only be performed. Hash and double hash operators. The pound and double pound preprocessor operators are available in standard C. The hash operator causes a replacement text token to be converted to a string surrounded by quotes. So wherever there is an followed, if you have the pound symbol, it causes a replacement text token to be converted to a string surrounded by quotes. Let's see. Consider the following macro definition. As define hello of x, printf hash, printf in double quotes hello, comma in double quotes hash x in double quotes slash n double quotes. We can see the how it works. When hello John appears in a program file, it is expanded to printf hello John in double quotes. The string John replaces hash x in the replacement text. So the replacement text is replaced with John. So that is the purpose of this hash operator. So hash operator causes a replacement text token to be converted to a string surrounded by quotes. So let's see once again the example. Hash define hello of x, printf double quotations hello, comma double quotations hash x. So this hash x will now be replaced by the parameter that is being passed for the macro and the symbolic constant hello of John. So John will be substituted in place of hash x. So the printf will print hello John. Strings separated by white spaces are concatenated during pre-processing, so the preceding statement is equivalent to printf hello, comma John question slash n. So hello John will only be printed. The hash operator must be used in a macro with arguments because the operand of hash refers to an argument of the macro. So this hash operator was to be used in macro with arguments. So if you don't have macro with arguments, then it in this case in those cases we cannot use. So the operator hash operator must be used in macro with arguments because the operand of hash refers to an argument of the macro. Now the hash operator concatenates two tokens. So if you want to use the hash operator by using the concatenation, then these two tokens, the tokens, two tokens. One token is defined with hash, and the another token with is defined with another hash. Then if you want to concatenate them, then you can use the symbol, the hash operator, so that it concatenates two tokens. Consider the following macro definition. As defined, token concat of x comma y x hash y. When token concat appears in the program, its arguments are concatenated and used to replace the macro. So if at all if you are going to use the token concat using the arguments x comma y, then those two tokens then those two x and y, two arguments x comma y will be concatenated and it is replaced with concatenation. For example, token concat of O comma k is replaced by OK in the program. So if you pass two arguments O comma k for the token concat macro that is defined, then it is replaced with OK in the program. The token concat of O comma k is replaced by OK in the program. The hash operator must have two operands. The hash operator must and should have one argument at least, one argument, and the token concat, that is hash operator, must have two operands, so that only it can be used. So then only they can be concatenated. Now let's see what is line number. How to print the line numbers. The hash line preprocessor directive causes the subsequent source code lines to be renumbered starting with the specified constant integer value. So if you want to give line numbers in your program source code, the source code lines will be renumbered starting with the specified constant integer value. The hash directive hash line 70 starts line numbering from 70 beginning with the next source code line. So if you have written this hash line of 70 in your source program or source code, it will start line numbering from 70 beginning with the next source code line. So just after this hash line 70, it will begin numbering of the statements or program statements or program lines, program code lines with number 70. A file name can be included in the hash line directive. A file name can be included in the hash line directive, so you can include file name in the hash line directive itself. The directive hash line 70 file1.c indicates that lines are numbered from 70, that lines are numbered from 70 beginning with the next source code line, and that the name of the file for the purpose of any compiler message is file1.c. So the lines starting from 70 are going to be have a name for the file, so the file1.c. So the file1.c is going to have a the lines after 70. The directive normally is used to help make the messages produced by syntax errors and compiler warnings more meaningful. The directive normally is used to help make the messages produced by syntax errors and compiler warnings more meaningful, so that they will indicate the line numbers. The line numbers do not appear in the source file, so the line numbers basically they are not going to be displayed in the source file, but they are going to be displayed once the compiler compiles, and if any error comes, these line numbers will be displayed. Now let's see what are predefined symbolic constant. Standard C provides a predefined symbolic constant, several of which are shown in the figure that is coming in the next slide. The identifiers for each of the predefined symbolic constants begin and end with two underscores. So these predefined symbolic constants that are defined in the C programming are basically they will begin with and end with two underscores. These identifiers and the defined identifier cannot be used in hash define or hash and if directives. So those these identifiers, the and the defined identifier cannot be used in hash define or hash undefined directives. So these are the symbolic constants and their meanings. Some of the predefined symbolic constants that are defined. The double underscore line double underscore, the line number of the current source code line, an integer constant. So the symbolic constant, it is basically used for the line number of the current source code line, and double underscore file double underscore the presumed name of the source file, a string, so it will give the name of the source file, and double underscore date followed by double underscore the date the source file was compiled, a string of the form the triple md space followed by dd followed by 4y, such as January 19 2002. So if you want to print the date of your source file compilation, then you can use the double underscore date followed by double underscore, so, as a symbolic constant in your program source program, so that it will print the source code compilation date. And double underscore time double underscore the time the source file was compiled, a string literal of the form in double quotations hh colon colon ss, so it will give hours, minutes and seconds, so it will give the time at which your source file was compiled. And double underscore stdc double underscore the value 1 if the compiler supports standard C. So if your compiler supports standard C, the value 1 value will 1 will be substituted in place of this stdc symbolic constant. Assertions. The assert macro defined in the assert.h header tests the value of an expression. So the assert macro defined in assert.h header tests the value of an expression. If the value of the expression is false, 0, assert prints an error message and calls function abort of the general utilities library stdlib.h to terminate the program execution. Let's read thoroughly, then we will explain. This is a useful debugging tool for testing if a variable has a correct value. For example, suppose variable x should never be larger than 7 in a program. So in cases of where you want to restrict certain variables value, then you should use these assertions. The asset macro defined in the it is defined in the header file asset.h, and it tests the value of an expression. So asset macro is defined in asset.h header file, and it tests the value of an expression. So it is basically used for testing the values of an expressions. Values of expressions. If the value of the expression is false, assert prints an error message and calls function abort. So, and this abort function is basically defined in the standard general utilities library stdlib.h standard library. There is a standard library that is a header file which contains all the standard library functions defined in the header file stdlib.h. So the one of the function of that stdlib.h is abort. This abort function is used to terminate the program execution. So when this abort function will be called is whenever the value of an expression is false, asset prints an error message, and then it subsequently calls the function abort of the stdlib.h so that it can terminate the program execution. This is a useful debugging tool for testing if a variable has a correct value, and it is a basically useful tool debugging tool for testing if a variable has a correct value. During some times of program execution, your variables will not have correct values. So during this debug, by using this the asset debugging tool, we can test if a variable has a correct value or not. For example, suppose variable x should never be larger than 7 in a program. So suppose if you are having a variable and its value should never be greater than 7, so its value should not exceed 7 in the program executions. In all of its program executions, in all the executions of the program, its value should not exceed 7. In those cases, we can use this asset debugging tool. An assertion may be used to test the value of x and print an error message if the value of x is incorrect. So, as already explained, assertion is basically used to test the value of x and print an error message if at all if the value of x is incorrect. So, during cases where your value of x is either true or not, you can check by using these assertions, and you can use in this way. The statement would be assert of x less than or equal to 7. This will simply check if x is greater than 7. When the preceding statement is encountered in a program, an error message containing the line number and the file name is printed, and the program terminates. So it is going to assert you that your value of x will not exceed 7 during your program's execution. If at all if it exceeds 7, in that case, that is if x is greater than 7, then the preceding when the preceding statement, that is a set of x is less than or equal to 7, encounters in your program, an error message containing the line number and file name is printed, and your program gets terminated. You may then concentrate on this area of the code to find the error. So why you need to use this assert is whenever you are having some sensitive variables, if at all if they should have some matching criteria, and if at all if this matching criteria is not going to be followed, if your program execution continues, then it will give finally incorrect results. Then if you want to go back to your program and check for the logic and the place where the error has occurred, it is very difficult. The programs may be very big in size. During those situations, what you can do is you can use assertions, and you can apply assertions on those variables which are which are having sensitive results, and you can find the place where you are these assertive variables are used, and you can concentrate on that particular code. So as it indicates the line number and the line number in the program, whenever the assertions are encountered, and if they fail, so you can simply consider you can simply go to that particular line, and you can check out the problematic code, and you can recorrect the code. If the symbolic constant and debug is defined, subsequent assertions will be ignored. So if you want to ignore some assertions, you can use the symbolic constant and debug by defining it in your program code. After this, end debug is defined, the subsequent assertions that are followed after this end debug will be ignored. Thus, when assertions are no longer needed, the line hash define end debug is going to be used. So whenever if you want to avoid the assertions in your code, you define hash define and debug. So you can use and debug a symbolic constant for avoiding the assertions in your program. Hash define and debug is inserted in the program file rather than deleting each assertion manually. So even what you can do is you can do in manual deletion of the assertions, but that takes a lot of time. So what you can do is you can define hash define and debug in your program so that it undefines all the assertions, or it will skip all the assertions that are defined after this hash define space followed by end debug. Assertions are not meant as substitute for error handling during normal runtime conditions. Their use should be limited to finding logic errors. So assertions are not meant as substitute for error handling during normal runtime conditions. Their use should be limited to finding logic errors. What it means is assertions are basically not used as substitute for error handling during normal runtime conditions. So error handling can be done with the help of these hash hash define pragma and hash symbol and double hash pound symbols. But they can also be used they can also be used in combination with these assertions, you assert hash assert. So the assertions are not meant as a substitute for error handling during normal runtime conditions. Their use should be limited to finding logic errors. They cannot be used as a substitute for error handling during normal runtime conditions. So assertions, what is the basic purpose of assertions is, if at all if you are having some variables and this variable value should be in your observation, and if your observation deviates from what is the what is the value of that current variable during the execution, then you can use these assertions so that you can be aware of the current value of that particular variable whose value you are being observing. And you can simply ignore the statements after that, or you can simply display some error message, and you can stop your normal compilation or execution, and then you can go back to your code and you can correct the errors in the code. So there you should be limited to finding logic errors only, but not the runtime errors. So they should not be used in the runtime condition. They should be you should be limited to finding logic errors only. So in this session, we have discussed the topics like the preprocessor directives, and also we have defined the preprocessor directives like macros definition and their undefinition, how to do the definition of the macros, and also how to undefine them. So what is the use of undefine is, whenever you are having some macros that are defined, if you want to skip their definitions during your subsequent program execution, what you can do is you can use these hash undefined. Macros can be defined for macros can be the preprocessor directive hash define can be used for defining the two types of two in two forms. So it can be used for defining the symbolic constants, or it can be used for defining the macros also. And these macros can be undefined with the help of the hash undef symbol. So whenever you want to avoid your defined symbolic constants or defined macros, they can be undefined with the help of the statement hash undef. The particular symbolic constant or subsequent particular that macro that you want to undefine can be written like a hash undef followed by the particular symbolic constant or this particular macro that you want to undefine. And also we in this session we have discussed the topics like pragma, and we have used tokens. The tokens can be defined with the help of the directives. The particular syntax is hash error followed by token, that is one, followed by some string format of text, so that whenever the particular error has encountered whenever the particular error has encountered, what you can do is you can use this substitute replacement text in place of that particular symbolic constant defined with that particular error. So it can be used for displaying the errors whenever you have encountered some error situation in your programs that you have defined. Also, we have seen the hash operator and double hash operator. The hash operator is used for simply substituting the particular string in double quotations in the printf statements. So in the printf statement, if you want to print one quotation, one string, and the other string, what you can do is you can substitute that in place of the particular argument that has been passed for the macro that was defined in the hash if def hash and if and you can also use the double hash operator, which can be used for concatenating the two tokens. And also we have seen the assets. Assets are basically used for controlling the variable executions. Whenever the variable execution exceeds some particular value that has being checked, and then you can use the asset so that you can throw some error and you can stop the execution at that particular program at that particular program line execution place itself, and you can stop or you can skip the execution of your current program. Thank you.